All right, well, if you've been watching some of the more recent episodes, you know that we've been running around in Normandy. We just got in to the hotel here, and thought that I would give you a little quick travel tip that could also benefit you at home. One of the big concerns whenever I'm traveling is protecting all of my data, which is why having a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network, is really kind of an important thing. Now, the VPN service that I've been using is NordVPN. They have a really good reputation, and their service is super fast and really easy to use. So you can see all of the different options that I have for virtual private networks. I am going to choose the United States, and boom. Now all of my data is protected. Not only that, but I can see all of my search results in English rather than French, and can also watch American shows if I want. Now this works the other way too. If you are in the United States, internet service providers collect your data, this protects it, and also let's say you want to watch a show in Britain, but it's not available in the US, well, there you go. Now all of your stuff is being routed through the United Kingdom. So there you go, that easy. Just one small simple step to make sure that all of your data is protected, and also to open up any entertainment options that you so desire from other countries. Now, I'm going to put a link in the description. NordVPN reached out and has offered a discount code to the viewers of this channel. You just go to nordvpn.com/History Underground and use the coupon code History Underground to get a discount to make sure that your data and all of your information is protected. All right, we're going to go ahead and get some sleep, and then tomorrow got a pretty cool place that we're going to go visit. Well, over the past few days, we've been making our way up and down the Normandy coastline, looking at some of the locations that are historically significant to the Battle of Normandy. And as we've been, traveling around here, Eric keeps telling me about this place that I have to go to that has some of the most amazing battlefield relics here in Normandy. This is the Big Red 1 Museum right here on a road parallel to Omaha Beach. So I can already see a whole bunch of stuff laying around out here that is cool as heck. So we're going to do a little bit of exploring of this place and see what we can learn. Well, right here out front, they have a few of what I would consider to be the most recognizable of the beach obstacles that were here in Normandy during the invasion, and that is the hedgehog. So obviously this is in relic condition, but these were designed to keep tanks off of the beach. Here's another beach obstacle that they have here at the museum, the Belgian Gate. Now, I've seen plenty of pictures of these Belgian gates before. Again, these were designed to keep vehicles off of the beach, but it's always been hard for me to tell just how tall they are. So I'm approximately 5'10", 5'11", and you can see this is probably about 7 to 8 foot tall. Yeah, they have one right out here. Pretty awesome. All right, so we just stepped inside the museum here, and dang, right off of the bat, we have the ramp to a landing craft. This thing is so interesting to me. Now, here's one thing that maybe some people knew and I just didn't. There was actually a window that was on these ramps. So right now what we're looking at is the inside of the ramp here, and you can see these hinges where this window would have swung down. Of course, it wouldn't have been down whenever they were making a beach landing. They would have had it down maybe during training or something like that. So standing here in this position would have been a coxswain, and there was a latch that would have attached right here. And whenever it got up to the beach, well, he would pull that latch. There would be another guy over here on this side, and then this ramp would drop, and everybody on board would unload. Oh, something else that is particularly interesting, you can see kind of the original color in here. One thing that the movies get wrong is they paint these things gray. They were actually more of a blue color. But yeah, that is an amazing piece. And the owner of the museum, Pierre, has a pretty interesting story about how he acquired this.
I was just only 9 years old, and I was just walking on the beach and see a part of it. And at that time I was 30 years before, 14 years, as you told. And I see just a part of it and recognize that it was a LCVP part, landing craft vehicle and personnel, that carried the first troops on Omaha Beach, D-Day, first wave. So for me it was important to manage it, and took her from the beach to conserve her, and that's what I did. At that time I asked the permission to the mayor of the town, who said yes, and I told him that the ramp will stay at Colville and that I will make my museum at Colville. I was only 14 years old at that time, and he said yes. And it was my job to find a guy to take it from the beach. That's what I did also in the same day, and it was done the day after.
Here are a few other relics just in the front room. So here is a 20mm gun that would have been on a landing ship tank. They also have the floats from a minesweeper. Many people don't realize that kind of leading the Allied fleet into Normandy were minesweepers. They couldn't do it early, or else that would alert the Germans. Well, here are a few of the floats that they would use to basically snag those mines. That is incredible. And on D-Day, a lot of the guys who were driving the landing craft were from the Coast Guard, and they have this outfit here that I have actually never seen one like it. So there's the insignia for the Coast Guard there, and this thing would have been impregnated with like an anti-gas material because they were worried about poison gas there on D-Day.
So this helmet was given to me by the family of the mayor of Colville, who was here during 1944. His family kept it since 1944 and gave it to me when I opened the museum 20 years ago. After, I knew there was an NCO horizontal bar at the back of the helmet, so it means that it was a staff sergeant. And I found the listings of G Company 16 Regiment, which was a company who kept Colville on D-Day, and they were the first to reach the village of Colville on D-Day afternoon. I knew before that when they reached the crossroad 100 meters from where we are, Germans' headquarters were at that point, and some German snipers were on the top of the trees, and as he was a staff sergeant, he was killed instantly because he was just at the beginning of the column of the guys. So, as I told you, the farmers kept the helmet because they found it directly in the ditch where he was killed. They found it few days after he was killed. The body was not here, the helmet was, in plus of human stuff. They kept it and gave it to me 20 years ago.
Here's a little bit closer look at this helmet, and you can see the bullet hole right there in the front. So again, this belonged to Staff Sergeant Silbert P. Green of the 16th Infantry Regiment of the 1st Infantry Division. Wow, and they also have a few other items here. This is the dog tag of a guy by the name of Marion Tubbs, and then here you can see a canteen that shows some pretty significant battle damage. Wow. This place is legitimately impressive. There's a roll of German barbed wire, there's a relic German helmet, looks like there's a broom handle Mauser there. Just all kinds of relics and materials. There's some TNT. Yeah, this really is impressive. Here's another kind of interesting artifact that you wouldn't typically think of, but that they have here at the Big Red One Museum. This is a garment bag for a Captain O'Brien, and you can see some of those markings on there. Those stripes on the left, those are like invasion stripes, and then of course there's a serial number. He was in G Company. So all of these would be used to get the right thing to the right place to the right guy. Now this belonged, again, like I said, to a Captain O'Brien, and unfortunately he was killed on his 30th birthday. All right, we have several other artifacts here in the collection, but I don't know which is my favorite. The landing craft ramp or this door. This is a door that obviously has been stitched up a little bit with perhaps machine gun fire or bolt action rifle fire. Either way, some significant damage from one of the homes locally here in Normandy. Again, here are just some more really interesting artifacts from here in this area. So here's a kind of a road sign or a city sign that has been hit with gunfire. Again, several helmets, uniforms. Oh wow, there's an SS helmet there. And that canister below it is the canister that the Germans would use to carry their gas masks. Another road sign. I kind of want one of these, like in my house. This is, I know I keep saying it, but it's just so impressive. Here's another part of the display in this museum for an individual who was a 1st Infantry Division chaplain. So these guys not only, provided religious contributions, but also would help as stretcher bearers, would be kind of like a counselor or a guide for soldiers whenever they needed somebody to talk to. I really like that Pierre has kind of included the service of these men in his museum as well. Here's a few things from the German Fallschirmjäger. So they had a very unique design of helmet, and you can see they also have like a sold book in here, and oh, here's a funeral card to a guy who was in the Fallschirmjäger. Interesting. So this is the remains of an MG42, which is obviously in relic condition, but that's not what I wanted to show. What I wanted to show is this right here. This is the uniform top for someone who was in the Luftwaffe, and as you can see, it has been completely shredded by gunfire and still has the blood stains of the man who wore it. That is wild. Here's another piece of a house that has battle damage on it. These are somebody's shutters, where you can obviously see, some of the bullet holes. So just kind of a reminder that it's not just the Germans and the Americans who are doing the fighting and dying. The civilians in this area were also greatly at risk by what was happening here. Now, with the fighting that took place here on D-Day and the thousands and thousands of men and tons of material that came in afterwards, you can imagine that after the war, there was a lot of debris and a lot of trash around here, including this bazooka. This is a bazooka that was found by a local civilian in 1946, so obviously a year after the war, and they just picked it up and kept it in their barn, and now it's here. All right, well, that was just a little bit from the Big Red 1 Museum here in Normandy. This place is awesome. To be out on the beaches and out on the battlefields and see where the fighting took place, and then to come here and see some of the evidence and some of the wreckage and some of the relics from the battle really helps to just give you a more complete overall picture of what happened on D-Day and the Battle of Normandy. And Pierre, in addition to just being kind of a neat guy and having a passion for this stuff, is super knowledgeable. I've learned a lot today. So anyway, yeah, that was the Big Red 1 Museum.